Bridge of Spies is the new film by Steven Spielberg, one of my heroes. And what this film is about, it's based on a true story of this lawyer who decides to defend this Russian who's accused of being a spy because, in his words, everyone deserves a defense. There's a bunch of people out there that are saying, just hang this guy, he's a Russian, and because it's in the middle of the Cold War, when the Russians didn't like the Americans and the Americans don't like the Russians, even though that kind of still is true, it's just not as intense. And Tom Hanks' character, it goes from defending this Russian to negotiating a hostage exchange. I gotta say, guys, as soon as this movie was announced, I was looking forward to it. I mean, Steven Spielberg is making a film from the writers of the Coen brothers, who have made apparently really great films that I still need to see, and it stars Tom Hanks, based on a true story set in the Cold War. Why would I not be interested in that? And walking out of this movie, guys, there are a couple parts that were a little boring to me, but overall, I thought this movie was fantastic. I love this movie. First off, the obvious. Let's get it out of the way. Steven Spielberg is a fantastic director, so clearly every single shot is going to be filmed to perfection. Every single location they go to, it's going to look really great. All the actors are going to be well directed. The dialogue spoken, it sounds like Spielberg dialogue, even though it's written by the Coen brothers, who apparently are kind of different than Spielberg, which is actually pretty interesting. So Steven, thank you so much for making another great film. You never go lazy. That's the thing. I love Steven Spielberg because he never goes lazy. There are a couple films that I still need to see from Spielberg, but for the most part, I have never seen him just cash it in. I've never seen him just lazily do something. Well, there is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where they used a bunch of bad CGI ants and monkeys, and maybe not Indiana Jones 4. And one of the main reasons why I want to make movies when I grow up is because of Spielberg's awesome films like Jurassic Park, or Indiana Jones, or E.T., or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jaws, all that. And Tom Hanks nails this performance, and he definitely deserves an Oscar because Tom Hanks says his lines with perfection. It makes you interested in everything he's saying. He could say something and you could not be interested in it, but he does say it in a way that makes you enthralled, and I like that because this movie could have been really boring if it wasn't for a performance like Tom Hanks. And I'm glad that Tom Hanks was in this movie because he was easily the best part. Every time Tom Hanks was on screen, I was concerned for him. I liked him the most. Tom Hanks is the best. And speaking of people that deserve an Oscar nomination, Mark Rylance deserves an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He plays the Russian who's accused of being a spy. He was really good in this movie. He had that kind of personality that even though you can tell he might be a little worried inside, he doesn't show that he's worried. Like, Tom Hanks asks him once, like, you're gonna be facing the electric chair, aren't you at least scared? And he answers, well, did it help? Like, every time he said that, a smile came on my face because his personality was so good, and Mark Rylance did a very good job playing this character. If I had to take issue with this movie, it would be that there are a couple times that it got boring. And mostly those times happened when they're focusing on the American spy. Whenever they shift gears away from Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance and focus on this American spy. And the American spy is a good actor, don't get me wrong. No one gives a bad performance in this movie. Nobody does. But it's just his storyline wasn't as interesting because I wanted to go back to Tom Hanks because I loved Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance so much, and then all of a sudden you cut away from that and all of a sudden we're focusing on this new thing. And during those parts I got a little bored, except for one really cool plane scene. I'm not going to spoil what goes down, but it involves a plane and the American spy, and it was really, really intense to watch. Like, holy crap, Spielberg. This is not going to be a movie for everyone, clearly. I mean, it is a very, very talk fest of a movie. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes, like kind of close to 2.5 hours, so it is a little long, so some people could be turned off by that. But if you do like talking movies, if you don't need action to be entertained during a movie, if you don't need action to feel suspense, Bridge of Spies is the movie for you, and I really dug the film. Even though a couple parts did get boring, I overall enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give Bridge of Spies an A-. It's not the new best Spielberg film ever, but it's another great film by Steven Spielberg. How awesome is that? That Steven Spielberg is an old man now, but he still makes terrific, fantastic movies. Isn't that great? But if you saw Bridge of Spies, leave in the comments below what you thought of it, and I'd like to give a shout out real quickly to 22 Tiger Dude because I was just on his channel collaborating with him on reviewing the movie The Guest. So hopefully you go check it out. 22 Tiger Dude is the YouTube channel, and you can go watch it because it's actually really cool, and I'm in it. Isn't that great? Plus, you should also just subscribe to him in general because he's actually a really cool movie reviewer. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.